give you a countdown on 5. Everybody goes at the same time. Does everybody understand? Nod, 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 nod. Great. 5, 4, 3, 1, go!
Every now and then in the world of cycling, you get a surprise. They may come in various forms, but they're very rare. This circumstance, the surprise, was the type of race that Nino was able to get to do. Didn't really know what to expect. The urban assault at Riverdale Park in Roanoke. The promoter contacted me and asked me to be the announcer for the event. It's kind of a second job that I've picked up over the past year. As a result of my announcing job, Nino received a comped entry. So we agreed to go up there for me to announce. Nino was going to race. We had absolutely no clue what we were getting ourselves into. But you got to watch this video because this was one of the coolest races that I've ever seen, ever been a part of, and Nino absolutely loved it and said there's no way in the world he's missing the next one on June 4th. So watch this video. I'll narrate some of it, but watch this super cool video where Nino surprises the hundreds of people lined along the course and at the finish line with an incredible place out of the giant wave of about 40 to 50 riders. So a quick race description. The urban assault is something that a longtime friend of mine by the name of Chris Berry from Roanoke, Virginia had come up with many years ago. Something he dreamed of being able to put on, but lacked the ability to do it with location and volunteers. But 2025, it all came together for him. He was able to put on this 2-race series. This was the first race. This is at an old industrial park that they're trying to revitalize in the southeastern part of Roanoke, Virginia. You can see part of the trail will go around and actually through some of these buildings. It's a super cool event, and the way the course laid out, I considered it kind of like a dirty crit race. It had a little bit of trail, a little bit of gravel, a little bit of pavement, going through concrete, asphalt, factory flooring, and just a hodgepodge of everything that you could possibly think of, with the exception of barriers for a bike race. That's what really made it pretty awesome. There had been some rains the previous day, so it was a little bit muddy in some spots, but not really that bad. Nino has a little 24-inch cross bike and a 24-inch road bike, but he's got a 29-inch mountain bike. So we elected to go with the mountain bike, give him a little bit bigger wheel size, and I think we made the right bike choice, considering there was a little bit of mud in the trail portion of it. But watch this, and I'll try to narrate some of it, but that's kind of a little course description. I do encourage you, if you're around, within several hours of this event, on Wednesday, June 4th, at, I think it's 5:45 p.m. is the first wave for the next race. It's only 2 races. Hopefully they'll do it again next year. It's a fundraiser. I'll tell you a little bit about that in a second. But hopefully they'll do it again next year. But they might not. So this might be your last chance. So check out bikereg.com. Type in Urban Assault at Riverdale Park. And come and check this out. There were some riders from Maryland, New Jersey, South Carolina, and it can be you next. It's a duration race based on the amount of time for the category. So like the beginners and juniors, I think did 2 laps around 20 to 25, 30 minutes. The sport did 3 and 4 laps, which was around 30 to 40 minutes, and the experts did 5 laps, around 40 to 50 minutes. So it's not an overly long race, but it was a super cool event with high intensity racing through all the classes, various skill levels. And some incredible competition came in the expert fields and in the beginner and junior waves. It was a large field, like I said, of around 40 to 50 riders. All right, to catch you up to speed. So we registered Nino in the junior 14 and under. They had a junior 11 and under, but as you know from following the channel and seeing Nino, he's pretty advanced, and so we typically only put him in the 11 under when we're in like a regional or kind of East Coast bigger race where we expect the competition to be extraordinarily high. At some of the more grassroots races, we tend to put him up in a higher category just to give him some competition. And that's not a dig at any of the younger kids. Some of them are super awesome, It's more of just kind of acknowledging that Nino is an exceptional bike rider to be his age, and he wants the challenge. And so he actually wanted to race the 18-year-olds, and I wouldn't let him. I thought that it would be more appropriate to put it in 14 and under. That said, the 14 unders had 2 laps. I wish they had had 3 or 4 just to give him some exercise and wear him down, but 2 laps was better than 1, so that's where he went. And so it had the junior wave, 11 and under, junior wave, 14 and under, and then the beginner men and women was the first wave at 5:45. So as you can see, at the start of the race, Nino had to start in the very back. The promoter wanted the young kids to start in the very back so they didn't get run over by the older people. Perfectly fine. Nino's used to starting in the back, no big deal. But I guess he'd already figured out what he wanted to do, and when I said go, he made a beeline to the right side of the road and passed 85% of the people within 5 seconds. It was a pretty smart move. I was proud of him. He took off, but he still had about 15 people in front of him. And through the next mile or so, he just kept knocking them off one by one by one. And then one of his teammates, Jason Cruz, was up there, and he caught him right before they got into the single track. Gave him a little motivational speech of, "Come on, Cruz." And Jason returned it, saying, "Go get him, fella." And there's the next thing you know, Nino's going into the single track, and he's in top 5. Absolutely had no clue how Nino was going to do, but I really didn't ever expect to see him that high up in the entire wave. But as he continued to go through, he had a really good start. He was riding really good and had some fresh legs. You could kind of tell through the amount of power he was putting out when we looked at his computer after the race. He clearly was motivated to do the best he could in this race. His grandfather had showed up, his aunt and uncle was here, his great aunt and uncle had got to come down because this was fairly local to a lot of family. So it was something Nino really wasn't used to doing, is getting to be able to do his thing in front of family and friends. And another thing, if you know Nino well enough to know, he's a showman. He loves to be in front of people. He likes cameras, he likes pictures, he likes fans, he likes yelling and screaming. And this was an event that was loaded with that. It was hundreds of people, music playing, a band on the course, clowns, aliens, you name it, just absolute total chaos and crazy, which made it that much cooler. But there were people everywhere cheering for him. He'd gotten kind of acknowledged at the beginning of the race, and so a lot of people knew his name. Many people know him from the region races anyways. And so he kind of was like a little 8-year-old celebrity going around, and his name was getting shouted everywhere. And I guess you can kind of put yourself in his shoes and see how could that not be cool as a little kid. So that just motivated him to do that much better, I think. And he really had a good time. So continue to watch along as you see him push himself to the absolute limit to get himself as high up in the field as he can. And then maybe you'll be as surprised as me when he comes through after lap 1. All right, as you can see in the video, Nino had worked his way all the way through the field. And he got up into about 2nd position. He would alternate with the other rider who was a junior or senior in high school, and they would take turns being 1st and 2nd. As they're going through the latter part of the first lap, they start to proceed through some of these really interesting factories where they're riding through, and the course organizers and volunteers had decorated the inside of it with rope lights and Christmas lights and various decorations, and it was an extraordinarily cool part of the race. So check this out through here as Nino and the other rider are taking turns in the lead and getting real close to coming through lap 1. That's when I'll catch you up again.
Speed station!
All right, you see right here, Nino's catching 1st place. The rider just to the right of him is Rob Isom. He's like a Roanoke legend. By no means is he a beginner. He's just out here having fun. I think he had his son or some family members that were riding in this particular wave. And I think he was having as much fun riding beside Nino as Nino was having in the race. But regardless, Rob is just kind of having a good time. But the rider in front with the yellow coat is the one that Nino is actually racing. You can see here Nino closes the gap and gets real close to him. They're starting to come through the area at the start-finish location. The start line was on one side of the corralled area, and the finish line was on the other. And so when Nino comes through, and we actually lay eyes on him, he ends up being in first place. Like I said, there was probably around 100 to 200 people there in this area where the food trucks and music was being played. The 50 or so people that were lining the fence, I was able to take a quick look at their face, and they were in absolute disbelief that Nino was in the lead. I honestly will never forget some of the looks of their faces. I was on the microphone saying, you know, I can tell some of you are shocked. Don't be shocked. You know, he's an extraordinarily good racer to be his age, and don't give your family a hard time for getting beat by a little kid. It was kind of more of a joke just to make fun of the situation, but the look and shaking of the head from all the people that were watching, you could kind of see the disbelief. But as Nino came through, everybody was yelling for his name. He hit a sprint, keeps on going. Right when they start to cross the finish line, the older rider decided that is enough of that, and he was going to take the lead. But Nino wasn't going to give up just quite yet. All right, so right now we're in lap 2. You can see Nino sitting in second place. He's got the first place rider in sight, but he can't just quite get him. After the race, Nino and I talked, and we came up with a little strategy if this was to happen again. He wasn't racing this person. He wasn't in his category, but he could have definitely worked with him and drafted with him. But unfortunately, Nino decided he wanted to take the lead early on, and I think when the guy decided to pass him, Nino was a little bit tired, winded, and wasn't able to catch that wheel. But strategy for the future, so keep watching some of the episodes we release in the future, and maybe we'll see some of that tactic come to play for the next race where Nino catches on and actually rides behind that rider. But you can see here Nino's still pushing super hard. He's in a good solid second place overall, first in his class, and he's going through getting ready to go back into the woods for the second lap. Again, this is a 2-lap race, so when they come through the finish line, that will be it. So keep watching, and got a couple different angles going through the factory this time from the front of the bike, so you get to see the different things and see if you can point out the clowns and all the other random craziness that was happening at this particular event. I don't know if you could hear it, but he asked, "Did your wheel pop?" His mom was riding behind him, and she had run over a stub that had been recently cut down and slit the sidewall of her tire. And so she had flatted and had to bail out. But Nino kept going. He was fighting strong. That being said, if you've been watching this up to this point, every minute of it, you got to say this is a super cool event. And you're probably sitting at home saying, man, I want to do this too. don't let it pass you by. Seriously, get on Bike Reg. This is a super cheap race. Like, I think it's like 25 bucks. Juniors are $20. It is well worth it, and it's going for a good cause. And let me tell you about that real quick while we got a second before it comes to the end of the race. There's a company called Noke Van in Roanoke, and what they do is they do custom fabrication for these Sprinter vans, Mercedes vans, that you basically convert into a camper, and then they do, I think, some food truck fabrication. And this is a locally owned business that employs around 20 to 25 people. Unfortunately, in the past several months, their factory burned to the ground. They lost everything they had. But even after that, the day after the fire, they kept their employees on payroll. They were still providing them work and paychecks so that it did not affect their employees. As a result of that, this event here, along with I Heart Southeast, which is a revitalization group for Southeast Roanoke, worked together with a promoter to put on this event, with all proceeds going to help Noke Van, and some of the money going to help I Heart Southeast for the revitalization of this area here. That being said, I think this is an incredible good cause. I didn't even realize it till we were at the event when my wife told me that her nephew actually worked for Noke Van at a period of time in his life. And so it was kind of like a personal thing as well. So that being said, you know, this is a super awesome event. Everything about it was cool. And then when you add in the aspect of the money going to help people that actually need it, that were sacrificing their own personal gain to make sure their employees were taken care of, that is the absolute epitome of why I agreed to volunteer to come up here and do this event. So that being said, make sure you get on Bike Reg, register for this event. Now, when I was asked to do this as the announcer, I was expecting to come up for 20, 30, 40 riders. I did not expect it to be that big of an event. It was a volunteer thing as a fundraiser, and I was like, absolutely, sure, we'll come do it. When I got there, there was like 110 to 120 riders on a Wednesday night in the middle of Roanoke. I was in disbelief. Hundreds of people, family, spectators, businesses lining the sides, food trucks, beer garden, the whole 9 yards. It was just an awesome event. On the other side of the course, they actually had a band playing on the course on a sidewalk while the riders went by. Just the whole thing of this is just an amazing thing that took place on a Wednesday night. So don't let this pass you by. Be a part of the next one. I think it's going to be even bigger. I expect 150 to 200 riders, and you don't have to be some elite rider or pro or some advanced cyclist. You don't need a cycling license. All you need is a bicycle without a motor. You are the motor. Put yourself on the seat and get into the beginner category. It's 2 laps. Take your time. There's nobody rushing you. You don't get disqualified. If you get lapped, you only got to do 1 lap. It's that much easier. And all the money goes to a good cause. So I want to see the numbers higher. And please make a comment below saying, I'm registered or I'm going. Just so we know that we encourage somebody to get out there and get into this event. You will not regret it. All right, so back to the action. Nino's here sitting in second place. He can see in just the distance the guy that's in first. He's trying with all his might to catch up. He wasn't satisfied with being second. He wanted to be the overall fastest, and so he's pushing really hard to do it. I was really proud of his effort, though, you know, as the announcer, I could not see what he was doing. Everything that I got to see came from this video that you're getting to watch. But after watching it, I was like, man, he really did do good. And the smile on his face told the tale at the end. He was just so excited and had so much fun. And that's when he said, you know, I most certainly want to go back and do this again. So keep watching here as you see Nino's fighting hard, playing along with Rob, and he's trying with all his might to catch up and catch that first person. One of the funny things about this is Nino hates Pennywise. Something about Pennywise freaks him out. And along this trail, Pennywise, the clown, and some of the clown buddies were hanging out, and Nino's just tripping out about Pennywise being on the side of this bike course. So see through here if you can pick out Pennywise. If you do, leave us a comment. That being said, look, this is an 8-year-old's channel. We're not asking for any money. We're not asking you to buy anything yet. That may come in the future. But right now, what we're asking for you to do is subscribe. It's super simple. Take your mouse, take your phone, whatever. Click that button that says subscribe. You have no clue how much it helps us. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, and hit like, share. We're putting out some great content. This is incredible videos that you can utilize while you're on your trainer or while you're waiting for a meeting at work or whatever the case may be. These are awesome things that we're doing here, and Nino is a star of the show. He loves doing it. He looks forward to doing all of these videos. And so do us a favor. Please like, first, subscribe, and if you like it well enough, share it to somebody else, because our goal is to get other kids out on the trails, whether they're racing or riding. It doesn't matter to us, but we want kids out there riding their bike and getting away from the video games. And we found that this thing right here, this channel and the races that Nino has been doing that. We have seen the people come to us and tell us that these videos has caused their kid or themselves to get out there and participate in an event, and that's what it's all about to us. Nino is sitting in second place. As it's getting close to the end of the lap here, he can see the rider in front of him. He knows he's getting close to the end of the lap, and so he's picking up the pace even more, trying to close down that gap, which is pretty cool because he gets really close. So he's fighting through here, and you'll see him come through where they started at and make the turn and come to the finish line. And let's see if he's able to close it down and become the fastest overall for the first wave, or if he's just going to take the second place spot. Regardless, to be 8 years old amongst the quality of riders that was in this particular wave, either way was a win to him. So watch along here and let's see how he finishes up. All right, so the riders that are on the trail are actually riders that are still completing their first lap. Nino and the first place rider had actually lapped the field, and some of the people. And that's just to say that this was for fun. Not everybody here was to race to win. They were just there to support, and that's what we're trying to tell you. So come out and support. But as you can see coming through here, he had to slow up a little bit because there was some traffic in front of him, and that put a little bit more of a gap there between him and first place. But about to come through the finish line, and let's see where he ends up.
Good work, bro.
Dude, that's impressive. Stop, dude.
Good job.
Bang. Second place overall. Couldn't have been more proud. What a heck of a race. Shows up, having absolutely no clue what to expect. Barely got to pre-ride. Puts himself in the higher category and ends up coming in second, only to one heck of an athlete took the spot. They congratulate each other at the finish line, and then Nino rides around, getting to see his family, and ultimately finds one of his dear friends, Miss Sadie Ross. And she won her race as well, so they cheese it up for the camera there at the end with her dad, Matt Ross, who is putting on the Punchy Pig, Wade Park, June 8th. Make sure you check that out at USMTB series at racinginthewoods.com. I want to see you there as well. Nino and I will be there on June 8th, so come check that out. But don't forget, June 4th is the next Urban Assault in Roanoke. Please come out there and support this great event. We hope to see you there. We'll be back, and check out this last little bit. Like always, have fun, be safe, and we'll see you on the trails.